Okay. Tonight, the Age of Brilliance, part 45, the 12 Pathways to Happiness, transmission 3, Gratitude in the Moment with our beloved Mynoo Maryel. What if gratitude was not something you practiced, but a way of seeing? Most people remember what was good. In the Age of Brilliance, we discover the miracle that already exists. Discover why presence naturally creates gratitude, gratitude naturally creates abundance, and how your attention becomes the force that expands your life. When you begin thanking life before it gives you another reason, every ordinary day becomes extraordinary. Because gratitude is not a response to abundance. Abundance is the response to gratitude. And here, Mynoo Maryel, take it from here, please.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for hosting as well. I just want to give everyone a heads up because I'm at home and you can see the background, and I have about 18 people here. All our whole family from Germany is here. So in case you see kids running around and stuff or deciding to jump into the pool, then that's what is going on. Okay. Just giving you a heads up on that. It's all about happiness, so why not? Okay, so we are on the third transmission around happiness. So I had no idea that it was going to be such a deep dive into happiness. We began this whole series with the transmission about how happiness is actually a decision that we make. And when you make the decision to be happy, then joy is the action you take. That is how we kick-started the whole thing. Now we're going to go into this third pathway to happiness, which is gratitude in the moment. The key distinction here is that gratitude is not remembering what was good. It is actually discovering the miracle that already exists. And when you look at gratitude with that particular perspective, it shifts everything. You don't have to remember what was good and then be grateful for that. But if you were to literally look at what's going on in your life right now, and look at all the contributing factors that have enabled you to be where you are, you actually become present to the miracle that already exists. And it's literally, you connect to your heart singing when that occurs. So this particular pathway calls you to be present. And in calling you to be present, what it's communicating is that when you are present and you're connecting to your presence, you're in the moment. And in the moment, all that exists is, here you are, your heart is beating, it is singing, and it is singing about something that is a miracle. So a presence naturally gives rise to an opening for gratitude. Gratitude naturally emerges, and gratitude by itself is a regenerative vibration. So it naturally produces abundance. It literally is, presence is the first domino. If you can imagine a series of dominoes, presence is the first domino. The moment you get the first domino of presence, you're in the moment, plugged into your heart singing, miracles are already there, and you start looking at the miracle of what's already there, gratitude kicks in, and it starts to regenerate, and you start to experience that vibe of absolute abundance. You can apply, so remember, I talk about to experience full spectrum wellness, there are 6 cylinders we fire on. And then we start thriving on these 6 cylinders. And the 6 cylinders are physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental. Now, you can get mentally charged up around gratitude, where you're applying your thoughts to what is it that you can be grateful for. And that's good. The moment you actually apply, the miracle lens approach, as I call it, where you're discovering the miracle of what already exists, you've literally instantly sparked off all of the cylinders. Because you've plugged into your physical, your heart is beating. Mental is already there because there are thoughts that you're applying to the miracle that already exists. And when you connect to the miracle of what exists, at an emotional level, you come into a state of stillness and centeredness. And as you do that, you plug into the spirit of you, and your spiritedness is what starts to express itself in all the social dynamics that you examine or you connect with from that point on. And your own vibration starts to create the ripple effect, transforming your environment and the environment at large, because each one of us as a soul being has quite a huge presence. So, this is slightly different than many of you have done my programs, and I talk about a gratitude binge, and it's pretty awesome. And many of us have heard Abraham Hicks talk about gratitude. This particular pathway is slightly different than that, in that it is saying it's not about remembering what was good, it's about discovering the miracle that exists. Now, when we as a human enter the realm of discovery, we are activating and working the creator within us. And each one of us at a soul level, we are that essence of the creator. And humans, when we operate as creators, we become natural co-creators, because you never create anything by yourself. Even if you're just in your human form, you're doing it by doing it alone, you are still co-creating it with nature. You're co-creating it with your guides and your guardian angels. So you are a co-creator. And that feeling in itself dissolves aloneness or loneliness. That experience of co-creation creates long-term regenerative fulfillment. And you snap out of consumption, which provides instant gratification. It is one of the most powerful way of dissolving any issues like anger management or, disappointment, regret. All of those immediately automatically start getting dissolved. It also raises your vibrational frequency. And remember, what can exist in your field is a direct representation of your vibrational frequency. So the kind of people, the kind of illnesses, as your vibrational frequency rises, some of those illnesses or ailments just won't stay there, won't be able to survive it. So this gratitude as a discovery of the miracle that already exists is the gratitude in the moment pathway. And it literally fires up in a regenerative way all of the 6 cylinders. And the moment you have a firing up of the 6 cylinders in a regenerative way, thriving is a consequence, a natural consequence. We had an interesting situation, right? I just want to talk about how I applied this, discovering the miracle that already exists. So every summer I go to Saudi Arabia and I do a 3 week summer camp with the students of a particular quite a major university there in the hills of Saudi Arabia. So it isn't scorching hot, it's actually really pleasant there. So it's a perfect summer is a perfect time to go there. And as usual, this was occurring this summer as well. And it took a while. There was a lot of to and fro and stuff. It took a while because there was a new dean that had come in, and it took a while for us to finally get the agreements and everything. Everything was signed from our side, and the airport of the place that we were going to land got bombed. And of course, it creates a lot of disarray and uncertainty and all of that. Now, it has been threatened before, it has been attacked. The attacks have come from the Yemen side. And it turned out that this particular attack was actually from the Iranian side. So it was a part of the mainstream conflict that was going on. I mean, it's like so unusual that this town in the northern parts of Saudi Arabia in the hills would have its airport bombed. I guess it did have the defenses that many other major city airports have. Now, it immediately put our summer camp at risk. And I mean, clearly, nobody really wanted me or anybody from my team to even go there if this is what was playing out, right? However, it is a substantive contract, and it does something. It does something quite valuable in terms of providing commercial foundation for that particular part of our business. So it is an important thing. So I mean, from my side, I was quite clear that if everything opens up, I'm going to be fine to go there. I will not risk any member of my team. So I will not take anybody from here at all, or from India there, because I don't want to risk them being there with me. So I will recruit a team from there itself, if it was to come about. And it may or may not come about, because when a country is threatened like that, then they have to immediately conserve resources. So and we do a lot of work. We do several months of work before it's time to go to Saudi Arabia. So there I am, like, okay, this has occurred. Everything was geared up for us to be there. I'm going to discover the miracle that already exists in this situation. And really, so many things came up. And I decided that I'm going to, even though my family from Germany is here, I decided that the first day, which is when we heard this news, a couple of days ago, and it was only yesterday that we discovered that the attack was actually from Iran. So it is a big issue. I decided to just have the space to myself, thinking it was going to take me all afternoon to process this and get back into a space of actually being happy about it. So what this happiness is doing, happiness pathways are doing, is when you get into a realm of gratitude, the consequence of being in gratitude is peace. And I didn't want to just be at peace with what had occurred. And it's not that the agreement is not going to go ahead. It's just that it could be delayed, and it is a risk, right? So I wanted to actually get into a realm of happiness, celebrating the miracles that already exist in this situation. So I started looking to discover the miracles that already exist. And what I saw, I mean, this was interesting. What I saw was that the fact that this occurred before I got there, you can just imagine if I was on a flight to there, which is what was going to happen today. I was going to fly out. No, tomorrow morning it was going to happen. And let's say it happened after or while I was on a flight to that particular place. You can imagine the impact it would have had on my family. They're all here, and my sister is in Dubai. It would have really thrown all of us in complete disarray. It occurred before. There were no human casualties, but of course, there is part of the airport itself is destroyed, and that will have its own ramifications. So the fact that it occurred before means it gave me the freedom to choose whether I travel there or I don't travel there. What it has also done is it got me to rethink how I deliver a summer camp. And how do I deliver the same value that people can get with me being there in person? How can I deliver that online? And it actually changed certain elements of it. It called me to get my son involved on the AI front because he does these amazing pieces of work with people where, within in less than an hour, they become very proficient at AI coding. And this is people who have known nothing about coding, people who know very little about AI, if that. And how he's transforming business. He's transformed his own business. He's transforming many other businesses doing that. So it got me to engage with him to create something for students. What it means is, I can, in a couple of days, depending on how things go, I can actually make a proposition to the same university to offer what we are doing, not just to 100 students, but maybe to several tens of thousands of students. They have 38,000 students, no, 62,000 students. So it may not be to 62,000, it may be to several hundreds, or it could be to several thousands at the same time. And given what has occurred, you know, my son's team is actually running a promotion on anxiety to awesomeness, and I started receiving it. That was a surprise actually for me from Sai, and it's really hitting the #1 bestseller in exactly the categories that I would want it to, and in new countries as well. So it was like, wow. And if I hadn't sat down to discover the miracle that already exists, remembering what was good was also good, but it would have been quite limited. The new creativity and the new creation of a proposition wouldn't have occurred. And that's why this particular um, pathway is a very big one. Because when you enter the realm of presencing yourself to discover the miracle that already exists, you have switched on the lights to be a creator. And creative solutions start to appear. I mean, a few things are quite private and confidential in the context of what I'm engaged in with a couple of businesses with whom I'm working on their exit miracle. In talking to a few people about how I was thinking of delivering a summer camp that was done entirely online with the same level of impact, it so occurred that there's one very specific business that's so close to an exit miracle. They actually I got introduced to someone who is very interested in buying this particular business. And it's a no-brainer to that person. So anyway, we'll see what occurs. But it's interesting how, when this is why I call this the first domino. The first dominoes dropped, and here I am thinking, okay, there'll be more than $100,000 that we would need to just park for now. That there are many more opportunities that just opened up, literally within minutes, because we are the creator, and you activate the creator with your presence. What happens when you are present? When you are present, you are plugged in, and you are connected to your presence. You're plugged into you as a human. And the human's innate vibrational frequency is love, which is an amplifying frequency. And with that presence, you are engaging in the creative act of discovering the miracle that already exists. Dots connect. Creativity is activated because you've allowed for that for it to occur. And the first domino drops, and so many other amazing contributors get activated, which you didn't even expect. So it's a huge one, become present. Presence naturally produces gratitude because in the moment when you use this pathway and you allow yourself to discover the miracle that already exists, you naturally enter the realm of abundance. So, yesterday, everybody had gone out in the afternoon, and I decided not to. They were going to a night market, and I decided not to because I was going to work on this. I mean, in 10 minutes, I'm like, flying high. So I went ahead and activated the connection to the 2 or 3 people that I wanted to talk these things through. And from that emerged the exit miracle opportunity, which I was totally not anticipating. And from that emerged a very interesting solution to a problem that my sister has been experiencing health wise. And, again, it's like all aspects of our life coexist. Once you get that this pathway naturally gets you to harmonize how you firing up on all cylinders, then every part of your life starts to get amplified in a way that does not overwhelm you. Because when all of these cylinders coexist, there is no overwhelm. It's only when 1 or 2 of these cylinders are allowed to fire up more than the others, overwhelm happens. And we haven't even got into this particular pathway, but I just want to check in with you, Sarah, if there's anything that you're noticing, anything that you want to share before I go deeper into it.
Yes, actually, I just wanted to ask you about what you mentioned, about, I don't quite grasp when you said when too many cylinders fire up at the same time, you go into overwhelm. Would you expand on
Yeah,
that?
if you have all 6 cylinders firing, you're actually in a whole and completeness, and you don't feel overwhelmed. Okay, but if you, let's say, have only 1 or 2 or 3 cylinders firing, but the others are dormant, then you experience overwhelm. So, for example, remember, physical is what you can touch and see. Mental is what you are your thoughts and your intellect. Emotional is your feelings. Spiritual is the connection of you to you, the spirit of you. Social is the social dynamic. Environment is the container in which life occurs for you. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's say you have your mental firing, right? Oh, if I do this and if I don't do that, and what could happen, and this could happen, and that could happen, right? Your mental is firing like crazy. And you're experiencing the emotional ups and downs that come with the thoughts, projecting something that doesn't exist, actually, that might be in the past into the future. It directly impacts your emotions. So you're having your emotions up and down, you know, and then it becomes so consuming that it disconnects you from the spirit. At this
Ah,
point, you are totally ready to be overwhelmed.
so it's really not that your 6 cylinders or several cylinders are firing at the same time. It's that they're contrary to one
If
another.
all
They
six
may
are
be,
firing, Sarah, if all 6 are firing, they can fire to their full potential and you will not experience overwhelm at
but they're
all.
firing in alignment to
They're
what the
firing in
intention is
harmony.
and
There is a
harmony.
natural harmony there, right? So, the thing with me was my physical, I had neglected. And I've taken on, right? 2026 has been my physical cylinder that I've started firing up. And I do find I love Thai boxing. I was telling my sister, and I know it really inflames my body, right? Because it is super active. And So she was saying, oh, why couldn't you just take on something which is a bit lighter and already you have an inflammation? But I really love it because it gets my physical cylinder firing really well, and I know everywhere else I'm actually in a good place. Okay. Now, the social dynamic when something like this occurs, right? Okay, this situation has occurred. I have to be having a communication with them with empathy. But also, I'm very aware that there's a big part of my team that is dependent on this money coming in. So I do want to know whether they're likely to go ahead with it or not, even if it is later. you know and the social dynamic is like firing strongly, right? um, Now mentally I have learned to process information like this, so I don't go into what if they say no and all that stuff. It'll be like, okay, whatever it is, whatever will occur. At an emotional level, I am in my center and I do my practices, so I remain connected to my spirit. But the social dynamic was firing really high you know so doing Thai boxing, which was like I upped my physical cylinder more than usual, right? I did combine it with Pilates, so it does actually get me to a state, but I also reframe myself that when you're doing Thai boxing, if you're not present, then actually it can damage you. And so it's 1 hour of absolute focus. Thai boxing, Gail, it's called Muay Thai. It's a very particular form of boxing that I do. It's pretty wild. When you come to Chiang Mai, you can have a session on that. Um, I decided that Thai boxing is my active meditation. And
So
it
it's
was
like
a
different
different
yoga.
experience. Yesterday's Thai boxing session was intense. I did 6 sets as opposed to 5. People my age normally do 3 sets, and I did 6 sets, and it was intense, but it was a complete active meditation for me. Now, because I got that going, then the social dynamics, they just needed the space. They didn't need, there'll be many other suppliers who will be hounding them at this point, you know, about whether or not their contracts are going to go ahead. And I just thought, okay, I've got to find an alternative. And I am going to trust that that alternative is going to occur. I'm just going to take my space because I had this very active meditation to get into a spiritual meditation in the afternoon where I'm just by myself. Huge amount of social dynamic activity happened because there are 18 people in the family, and Jill's mom and dad arrived yesterday. So it was like super exciting to meet all of them, you know. And then I had that space to myself. So I was able to really be in my spirit, and suddenly these solutions appeared. I immediately was able to very clearly and crisply talk to Sai. Thank God for AI, that between him and I, using AI, he created a really great solution for the AI part of our program, if for college graduates, which is amazing. And of course, my stuff, I created the modules that I can do very powerfully online. And then saw that they can be delivered to many more students. I had 2 hours by myself, Sarah, right? In those 2 hours, all of these solutions actually happened. I sent it off to my university contacts in Chiang Mai University and a couple of other universities.
Wow.
And I even got feedback from Chiang Mai University saying, well, can we actually have this as a part of our program that we are launching in October? Now, if I had allowed my mind to go and spin into, oh my God, how am I going to fill this gap of over $100,000 in such a short space of time, I would not have had any solution whatsoever. I would be consumed by the collapse of what was happening, right? Whereas I said, okay, this is so right now, and I'm going to activate, super activate, hyperactivate my physical so that I can actually really get that harmony back. You automatically understand which of your cylinder is going to take off. The main thing is to harmonize. There was a very
I,
high risk of the mental cylinder to be taking off.
hmm. I forgot about harmony, so I'm grateful
Yeah.
you're bringing it up now to remind us the
Do
importance of
not do
harmony.
not engage in balance. Do not engage in balance. There's no need to balance anything, but that is the craziest use of your resources. Harmony allows everything to move.
Balance sounds like an effort.
Hmm?
I mean, balance
Yeah,
sounds like
it
an
is. It
effort
is. And it's
as
a
opposed to
wasted effort.
harmony.
It's a
Right.
wasted effort. What are you doing? All you're doing is, and it's so mental and physical and nothing else. At best, when you go out of balance, you beat yourself up emotionally. But you're totally disconnected from spirit because you have to balance.
It's a
And it's,
beautiful lesson. It's such an invaluable lesson because most of us go into panic
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and overwhelm
But
as
you
opposed to,
you understand the moment you experience panic or overwhelm, you know it is one or two cylinders that are overfiring. You've got to
ah,
harmonize.
ah, interesting.
Okay.
Okay. I never thought about that. Thank you.
That's the
I
key
think
thing.
that's useful for all
That's
of
the
us.
key thing. Yeah.
So they're markers or what do you call them? Soldier major
Sergeant
soldier,
majors. No, no, that's
sergeant
different.
majors.
That's different.
No, it is different, but it is an
Yeah.
awareness.
Yes.
It's a consciousness that if you're in overdrive or overwhelmed, then to look back at the six cylinders.
Yeah. Which ones are
Which
overfiring, and
ones?
then you counter them. A
Yeah.
great counter to mental is physical. Increase your physical activity. Things like Tai Chi, things like Thai boxing for me does it. Things like for Sai, he does a very hardcore gymming session. He does wakeboarding as well. That does it. And he's doing some serious wakeboarding, flying in the air and loops and things like that. Right. So that does it for him. Just brings everything back into perspective. So and mental is the main issue for most people. They allow the mental to run and then emotion follows quite fast,
Yes.
and physically you get stopped. And then, of course, sometimes you start shying away from others. So social dynamic starts to collapse.
Ah, fascinating. I never looked at this dynamic
Yeah.
within context. Thank you.
Yeah. So this particular pathway is quite a magical one. And Gail has asked the question, what is an exit miracle? Gail, it's a particular method that I use with businesses, particularly. And it's a formula which allows them to exit from a particular state that they are in to a completely new state. And that new state could be the sale of the business or sale of particular assets, or it could be a scaling up to such a level that they can only amplify from that point on. Okay, and it's a method that I've created, and I've been implementing it for decades, and it's become even more fine-tuned, and it's very rapid in its results in the age of brilliance. So, shall I continue, Sarah?
Yes, please. Great. Thank you.
So, this form of gratitude coming from a state of presence where you're discovering the miracle that is hidden within naturally produces abundance. And the hidden age of brilliance principle here is attention is what creates expansion. So when you're applying with your presence, remember your presence it acknowledges yourself as a soul being. And a soul being is limitless, is indestructible, it's unstoppable. You're really unleashing that power to be expressed through you in your human form, and you're giving that attention. So expansion is a natural consequence. So attention creates expansion, and whatever you discover as the miracle that you appreciate with presence grows, and it grows appreciatively. So what can you expect when that happens? You literally see beauty everywhere. everywhere. I mean, even here, my God. So the solution that we've got, what we had created before was a very specific program for one particular university's summer camp. But the solution that we've now created is something that can be made available to any university anywhere in the world. And the barriers to its implementation are dramatically reduced. And the costs per student can also be dramatically reduced. And the number of students that can participate at any one point can be dramatically increased. So it's like, wow, really beauty everywhere. Now, the cost of not using this approach, it's like living a life where you're surrounded by abundance and you're choosing to experience scarcity. So your attention is going on scarcity, and scarcity is what multiplies. That's the cost of not doing this, not walking this pathway. Gratitude journals are brilliant. Gratitude in the moment calls you to be present. And what are you present to? Yes, you're present to your surroundings, but when you're present, in your presence is where the blossoming of miracles takes place. And you drop the first domino that then starts to blossom abundance all around you, and you see it. And scarcity just quietly dissolves away, disappears. That's what happens. The best part is, it is something that you can apply to anything, your health, your business, anything at all. We were talking, my sister and I were talking last night, and she is going through a repeated series of bouts of shingles. So she's had the shingles vaccine, whatever. I don't believe in vaccines, but she does. And the doctors did say to her that the vaccine will, prevent it. It hasn't. She's had three bouts of it. And the doctors basically are saying, oh, at least it's not as bad as it could be because of the vaccine. Whatever. She's had three bouts of it. She's in the middle of one of the bouts of shingles, and she's towards the tail end of the antiviral treatment that she's having, and she has another outburst up on her forehead. So it's extremely painful that what she's going through, right? So yesterday we were talking. I was talking to her, and I said to her that this virus is the two things. One is that this virus is appearing because there is a vibrational frequency match there. And it's a strong virus. It's something that stays dormant in our body unless you have a vibrational frequency match, in which case it shows up. What triggers that vibrational frequency match? And what is it that gets the virus to remain active whilst being dormant, ready to emerge, is the weakness of our nervous system. So I was saying to her that I tune into your body, and the weakness of the nervous system has come from a breakdown of trust that you have experienced some point in your life. You may not be going through it now, but the moment there is anything that resembles that breakdown of trust situation, your nervous system remembers its weakness, and it creates an undue level of stress, and shingles appears, right? That's what I saw. That's like the domino that's going on. So we were like, okay, we need a miracle here, because whatever she's doing with the Western medicine is not delivering, and it's actually damaging her immunity even further. And Sarah, you've done this, so I said to her, what I would really like at this point is to find a live blood analysis person who is also a really good herbalist, who can work with what is going on in your bloodstream. And then I can work on the other cylinders with you. And then I'll have you come in and work on the environmental piece. But I mean, I don't know if live blood analysis even recognized as a practice in Dubai. She lives in Dubai. Um, I don't have any idea about any of that. And I didn't even know where to ask or whether I should even inquire about it because it is one of those treatments that is not necessarily accepted by traditional medicine. That so yesterday, when I'm in my space, uncovering what alternative solution I can offer the university, and I choose to talk to a friend of mine who is in Dubai, and I talk to her, and she says to me, Minu, I was thinking of you because I wanted to connect you to this guy who's based in Dubai, and he does live blood analysis, and he's an amazing herbalist. I'm like, you can't make this thing up, you know? Literally, few minutes before that, I'm talking to my sister and I'd say this to her, and a solution appears. And immediately, of course, I get his details and I explain what live blood analysis is to my sister. And this guy is running a promotion. So instead of 1,000 dirhams, it's going to cost 500 dirhams during July, you know? So, okay. And this all came from um, gratitude in the moment. Really, what happens is when you have conversations with anybody and you're in your presence, your own words become discerning by themselves. It's as if your higher self is operating from within you, and it already has a much bigger vista to understand where your intervention is going to have the biggest impact, you know. Um, and it turned out that when I was talking to my friend Pilar, I said to her, she asked me, how is Vibha doing? Because Pilar is in Dubai, Vibha is in Dubai. And I told her about the shingles thing, and that's how the connection to the live blood analysis came up. I didn't even say to her that I wanted a live blood analysis person. She just said that actually I have someone, maybe let's examine that because she's done all of the other tests. Let's look at this part. I said, yeah, that's exactly what I told Vibha a few minutes ago. So, because I chose to step into this way of living, I was surrounded by abundance. And then I started experiencing abundance, as opposed to the natural state that in which we exist. This is the environmental piece. The natural state that in which we exist is a state of abundance. We have an abundance of co-creators. We have an abundance of collaborators, should we choose to look. And we choose to experience scarcity. And that is the cost of not walking this pathway. And remember, the precursor to all of this is you making the decision to be happy. The reward that you have when you walk this is that every ordinary day becomes extraordinary. And so absolutely the case. Absolutely the case. Yesterday morning when we discovered that the attack was from Iran, it was like, okay, this is now part of the major conflict, not the little Yemeni Saudi conflict that's been going on for a while. Because even last year, when we went to the university, the room that we were going to deliver our program in was taken over as a war room. So it was like, okay, this conflict is going on. So it escalates sometimes. So it was sort of okay, except this time. So it could have been not just an ordinary day, it could have been quite a collapsing day. And it turned out to be an extraordinary one. So keep that awareness. I'm going to talk more and more about this in the 6 cylinders, harmonizing across the 6 cylinders. I have never spoken about the 6 cylinders in this nuanced way that I'm starting to now. How do you know that you are on track? You know you're on track Because you begin thanking the gift of life before it gives you another reason. It's as simple as that. I see that in myself. Every morning when I wake up and I'm starting my morning chores, it automatically just comes out that I'm so grateful to actually be here at this time in this part of the world. You begin thanking life before it gives you another reason. When you do that, every step you're taking in the fullness of your presence. When you are present to your presence, that is a present in itself, a gift present in itself. And what's there not to thank about that? You don't have to look for reasons. It becomes a natural unfolding and a blessing of miracle after miracle. The key thing to remember here is that gratitude is not a response to abundance. Abundance is a response to gratitude. I always thought, and I know, and it is anchored in my being as a knowing, that gratitude is the key to peace. I am in gratitude, peace is the consequence. Conflict disappears and dissolves. This pathway to happiness, gratitude in the moment with presence, that makes abundance as the response to gratitude. When you are in your presence and experiencing that gratitude, in abundance is the response. Abundance is the consequence. Sarah, anything that you want to say at this point before I go into the closing part?
Yeah, just quickly, I think I've asked this before. I'm attempting, I want to feel more, what is it like to being present to our presence? Because we're with ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
But what does that feel like when because I'm reviewing when am I present to my presence? So I'd like more of an example or feeling.
Yeah. Very, very, very good question, Sarah, because you're right. We are with ourselves all the time. When you are, because you know this work, when you are in your source mastery, you are the master that you are. That is how you, at a cellular level, have experienced you in your presence.
Okay.
Okay. Now, source mastery and being that with everybody is a way of doing that. Right? Okay. Now, and the cellular experience of being in your source mastery is a remembrance that you already have. Okay. That's how you know. But there are others here who have not done that body of work. Okay. So for them, when you are experiencing that you are living your life, the purpose of your life, which is to come alive, right? You know that your thoughts are not going crazy, your emotions are very centered. You can literally live, breathe, experience everything that is going on. You are in your presence. Like
So is
it
it
literally
really
is a
feeling?
space, it's a space of nothingness
Okay.
where anything is possible.
Okay. So is that also flow state?
Yeah, it is a flourishing state.
Flourishings.
Yeah, it's a flourishing state. And remember, I use the term flourishing because no, we don't flourish by ourselves. We flourish within the knowingness that we are collaborators and co-creators as we choose to live our life. Each one of us individually, we have the gift of life. So flourishing state is a natural recognition of collaborative co-creation of coexistence. You're never alone. There's a lot of abundance. The miracle lens is the way that is the perspective with which you're looking at everything.
Never thought about it that way. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's new. Well, it's not new, but you're bringing it together in the
Yeah,
new.
it's a perspective that you can work with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We have a question, Asha.
Uh,
Asha J. Does it mean anything happens is gladly accepting and is God's gift and to be in gratitude? Oh,
um,
does it mean anything that's happening is gladly accepted?
yeah. Does it mean anything happens is gladly accepting it and is a God's gift and to be in gratitude? What I would go, this particular pathway invites you to go further than just that. Okay, what it says is look at the miracle that's already there. So when something happens that you don't want to happen, something happened that is a shock, something happened that's distressing or upsetting, you know, um, it's difficult to immediately say, okay, that's God's gift and we'll move forward. It's difficult to be able to do that. Right? However, the fact that it has happened, and there is a big process that you'll go through to unconditionally accept it. I'm saying, and sometimes it's difficult when something has occurred to even go through that process and even get to a point of unconditional acceptance. What you can do, though, is when something has occurred and it is calling you to, create, calling for a response from you, you can look at what is the miracle here in this? So when I heard the news, the bombing had taken place at the airport, so all flights were closed. And then I hear yesterday that it wasn't the Yemenis, it was actually an Iranian bomb. So it is a part of the main conflict. Then it has many consequences, including us not actually doing the summer camp at all this year, and therefore having to replace the money that my business was looking for from this particular contract that was already solid with something else. So at that point in time, I chose to look at, well, what's the miracle in this? What has occurred? And then only after I discovered that there was actually a miracle in this, and a whole new set of creativity started appearing, I naturally became grateful. If something occurred that you don't want to happen and you're saying to yourself, no, I should accept it and I should see it as a gift from God, part of your brain would be contradicting you. Your mental cylinder will go out of control because it'll be wanting you to see that, hey, stop deluding yourself. But when you approach it with, okay, this has occurred, it is distressing, it could have a variety of consequences, not very pleasant consequences. What's the miracle here? And then you start discovering it, and then you naturally come into a state of gratitude. That's my response to that. Now, Gail, you say you have something to say?
I'll make it quick. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I've been following this, so I love this.
I know
Um,
you've been following the series. Thank
oh,
you for your feedback.
and it has made a huge difference already.
Yeah.
So just starting the first happiness series, how do I say this? Because the summer tends to be slow, and some of my students have gone away with their families, as opposed to getting upset and getting into the whole rut of, oh no, what am I going to do, blah, 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 blah. I said, wait a minute, this is in a way a miracle for me to work on my environment, which is making me very happy, by the way. And not only am I working on my, all of a sudden I got a gentleman who does renovation, and he does it for free for me because he likes me. He wants to do that for me not as boyfriend or anything, but just as a nice person. All of a sudden, my art is changing. Somebody brings me a beautiful piece of art, and it's just been like you said, there are so many miracles that have unfolded just by deciding to be happy. And a second thing that I love that you said is that you can't wait for things to be perfect to be happy, or for things to happen outside of you.
Yeah.
And I don't hardly know anyone who does that, you know. And I believe in that, but now I really believe in it, and I just think it's wonderful. And I have been in, and the thing that you're talking about, the physical, I mean, look, how do I say this to you? I was dancing, I suddenly couldn't dance because because of all the pain and stuff that I've been going through, and I've been trying every which way to figure it out. And it was and before I started doing the happiness series, I don't like to admit ever that I've been depressed. I was getting depressed and I was feeling hopeless because all of a sudden my body said, sorry, you've got sciatica, scoliosis, arthritis, screw you. You're not going to dance. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. And I said, the politics, as far as I'm concerned, is awful and I hate it. There's all the reasons why I could get upset. And obviously, especially because, I love you, hearing missiles are coming at you and all the things that are going on with you. I'm just like, come on, this is my mentor. This is my person. How could you do this? So I just want to acknowledge you, for being so amazing and persevering and so real. You do not mince words, and you are so real. You're just so real. How can anybody argue with, oh my God, this woman's being attacked by missiles. Her sister didn't, join her. I mean, you hear these things, and how dare I complain about anything? Not a thing. I'm safe right for now. So, so it's just, so now I have this, but I'm thankful because I've gotten physical therapy and I love my physical therapist. He's amazing. Things go a little weird during the day. I expect to do this to completely become something else, but I go with the flow and it becomes even better. So I love the attitude of gratitude, just to be here, just to start with the miracle lens, just to say, okay, and especially now that I've been working on my environment, and Cookie, my bird, is very sensitive. By the way, she was chirping away while you were talking. She loves you. And so she was depressed too for a while, and not anymore. Yesterday, I didn't think she'd come out. She came out 3 times. And if I'm on the phone, she circles around me and says, get off the phone. So I just wanted to thank you and to acknowledge you, because this works. If you do, this just works. You explain it, and I get a lot of it. And I'm not perfect. Who knows? But I really do get it. And every time I do it, it just works. And you got to believe in it, because what else are we to do? We could all give in to all the stuff, all the crap, all the junk. But you're right. It's really up to us to be happy. It's within us. It's not everything else. Like my friend said, well, yeah, Friday night was great because we did this and that. But then yesterday was blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter, because you have to make yourself happy. And she's very involved with controlling, which is not good, being involved with other people. And I said, I love you. And this is my best friend of over 50 years. And I said, but you're always distracting yourself with other people's problems.
Yeah.
As opposed to
so much.
Working on
Thank you
yourself.
for sharing. I'm just conscious
Thank
of
you.
them as well, but thank you
Sorry,
so much.
thank you.
for sharing.
It works, people. And by the way, I shared the part 1 and 2 with 2 other people already.
Awesome. Great. Great. I know that we've gone past the hour. I just had a concluding transmission to do related to this particular pathway. Sarah, Is everyone okay with it? If you are, just say go in the chat and I will continue and conclude it. You'll need to type go or give me a thumbs up or something.
And everyone, how about a thumbs up?
Yeah, thumbs up is good.
Thumbs up, everyone. Hi, Lee. It's good to see you. It's wonderful to see you.
Okay,
All right.
I'll continue
Thumbs up.
then. Great. So in conclusion, understand abundance is a response to this gratitude in the moment, right? So let's bring this home. If happiness is a decision and gratitude is the doorway, then freedom is the destination. Freedom from everything. So look around you. Look around you right here, right now, in the moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when life becomes easier. Right now, this very breath, this very heartbeat, this very moment, life's already offering you thousands of miracles. The warmth of the sun, the embrace of someone you love, the laughter of a child, the wisdom hidden inside a challenge that you might have experienced, the opportunity to begin again. Most people rush past miracles because they're searching for magic. And actually, acknowledging brilliant people discover that miracles are the magic. The extraordinary has always been hidden inside the ordinary. The question has never been, how much do I have? The question is, how deeply am I paying attention? Because wherever you give your attention to, you energize that. Whatever it is that you appreciate, it expands. Whatever you celebrate multiplies. This is not just positive thinking. It is how consciousness creates reality. So today, make a sacred promise to yourself. Stop postponing happiness. Stop waiting for someone to choose you. Stop believing that circumstances hold the keys to your joy. You've always held them. You always will. Your happiness is not in any other person's hands. It is not hidden in bank accounts. It is not waiting for the perfect. It's not in any particular relationship, the perfect career, the perfect body, or the perfect future. It has always been waiting for your permission. The moment you reclaim your accountability for your emotional state, you reclaim your power. The moment you reclaim your power, that's when you reclaim your freedom. And the moment you reclaim your freedom, your brilliance becomes unstoppable. So as you leave today, don't just simply practice gratitude, become gratitude. Gratitude in the moment is the be gratitude state. Do not simply seek happiness, become happiness. Don't just simply search for abundance, become the source from which abundance flows. Because the happiest people in the world are not those who have the most, they are the ones who notice the most. The freest people in the world are not those with perfect lives. They are the ones who have discovered that no one has the authority to govern their inner world. The authority belongs only to them. It belongs to you, always has, always will. So go into this week with your eyes wide open, your heart overflowing, your spirit fully awake. And remember, every moment is asking you only one simple question. Will you see the miracle or will you walk straight past it? Choose wisely, because your answer will determine not only your happiness, it will determine the life that you create. This is the real welcome to your age of brilliance. The miracle has never been waiting for you. It has been waiting for you to notice it, to celebrate it, to become it. And this pathway is your access to that. Gratitude in the moment. Happiness guaranteed. Abundance accomplished. Over to you, Sarah.
Wow, beautiful. Namaskar to you and to everyone. Thank you for bringing some of the concepts and distinctions you've identified over the years and creating not a new container, a new perspective, a new point of view, which is even more powerful and empowering and useful. I really am going to focus on the cylinders, like being conscious of where I am and what perspective or point of view I'm taking on at a particular moment by moment, and that the choice is mine. It's ours. Thank you. Namaskar. Thank you, everyone.
Everyone. Yeah, do share this, the recordings on happiness with as many people as you can. It'll be great to have that perspective, shift. Thank you, everyone. And Sarah, it's so interesting that every time you do a particular session, because you've known me before any of this happened to me, you knew me as a corporate executive, go, hardcore corporate executive.
Yeah. In London,
In
together,
London,
with us in a pub with Sai. Yes, fabulous. I am extraordinarily proud of you because I know the ups and I know the flow and the rockiness and the ups and downs and consistency and commitment and your growth and development and learning and the openness. Thank you.
Thank you. And Gail, I really love being real because, for me, it's like I'm only going to learn from someone who's been there, done that, and is willing to be vulnerable enough to share it. And
Well,
that's how I
that's what
learned
means
that.
everything to me, is that you're so real. You share things. You're a human being. We're spirits within it, but you're a human being, and you're down to earth, and yet you experience these amazing, miracles. And I remember when I first started working with you. What do you want to call? You talked about that you were not allowed to smile. You were in the corporate world, and I smile good or bad and all the time. And you were talking about that you were told not to smile, and how that became a big transformation for you. And now here you are talking about happiness, and your first thing about happiness is smile. Smile. Even if you don't feel it, smile. Your body will start to smile. Your cells will start to smile. And I'm like, this coming from a woman was not allowed or was not supposed to smile.
Well, I assure everyone Mynoo is
And
very
Sarah,
human. Very human.
Right. And that's what I love about you. You're not somebody who talks up on a mountain, we're all praying to, please give us the guidance, please, blah, 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 blah. You're a person. You're here and you share everything. And even, I mean, my God, I saw you with an elephant. I've seen you. I mean, even your communication with animals is just amazing. And people don't recognize this. I don't know how they can't see this. And every time I listen to you, I meditate with you, I have a beautiful day, something wonderful occurs. So, I'm not.
Gail, it's really, really important. I'm talking to you, but it really means for everybody. Own it for yourself as well. Don't give that power of your happiness to me.
No, I understand that. No, well, that's what I also noticed about this past year. I would say you've made me. I don't know about other people. Very independent. I didn't like it. Because Sarah, every 2 seconds, Mynoo, this is what's going on. Can you help me? Can you help me? What do you suggest? And Mynoo didn't. Mynoo's like, I could see that she read what I wrote, but she didn't respond. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? And you even said that in one of your chats and beyond, something where you want the people that are, even though they're listening to you and they're meditating with you, you want them to be able to find their own solutions. I do the 9-4-6 breath a lot. Okay. And when some guy was putting cortisone shots in my knee, I just started singing. You know, I do everything. I use what you've
Okay.
taught, and
Awesome.
and that's very helpful. Just using your tools. I'm not running to Mynoo. What do I do? You know? But I use your tools, and that's you are helping. Especially me, become way more independent and have a lot more optimism and excitement. And note, and the trying is trying. I'm just not trying anymore. I'm just doing the hell with that. Sorry. I don't know. My whole attitude is different. And when you said you raise your vibration, my landlord and I joke around now.
Can you imagine? We've all experienced the trauma drama with your landlord.
People in his office, we kid around, we talk about traveling, and I want to go, okay, thank you, really? Okay.
Let's
And I got a new student today. I got a new student.
awesome.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
then her boyfriend, who's a prominent fashion designer, is starting with me next week. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
good. These are beautiful things. They're coming in, they're happening, and I didn't have to
Awesome.
kill myself to get it. You
Yeah.
know?
Great.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you,
I
everyone.
know when it's working, Mynoo.
We have a very big party today. We are celebrating Leos.
I'm a Leo. You know that. August 11th is my
Yes.
birthday.
So we are celebrating
Oh,
Leos today.
why? Who else is a Leo? Sarah?
Well, yeah,
No, I'm Pisces.
my
Oh
dad
boy.
is a Leo. Jill's brother is a Leo. Phil Blackburn is
Phil?
a Cancer. So
Oh,
I don't know
nice.
why we've chosen to celebrate Leos today, but we have.
Well, that's
Oh.
why I'm here. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much, Mynoo.
Okay. Bye,
I'll see you.
By the
everyone.
way, Manu, since there's so much sharing, I'm going to India, so I will see you
Oh
beginning
my
of November
God.
for 3 to 4 months. Oh, look, I get all paid.
Wow.
All right. Love you.
Wow. More
I
about
miss you
that.
so much. I had to manifest going to that side of the world.
Okay, you just have Chiang Mai is just a stone's throw
Just
away.
Oh my God.
for
Okay.
sure.
Bye,
All
everyone.
right. Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.